Hi, everyone in podcast land. I'm David.
And I'm Jono.
And this is the podcast where everything's off the top of my head and coming right from the feed of my Twitter egg.
Well, I'm going to do an uppercut because I saw a cool movie on the weekend. Creed 3.
Oh, wow. We're going to talk about Creed 3. We're also going to be talking about our thoughts on the state of
like the
mental health of the world's second richest man, Elon Musk.
Oh, and the hot dumpster that is Twitter. Right
yeah, we're big Twitter people, and we have lots of thoughts and lots of experience. And I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared, and we're going to talk about that. John, why don't you get started, though, with your thoughts on Creed 3?
Creed 3. Very different from the first two.
Really?
But it's still a good movie.
Okay.
But I really want them to be break out of the trope of exploring the past. Because this one, I just saw the movie poster because I watched it at home and I didn't see the movie poster. But it's like, oh, you can't when I was watching Dead, you can't escape the past. Sure. I'm like, okay, the fucking all the Creed movies is you can't escape the past. First one's about his dad. Second one was Drago, which is just like
Rocky's past.
So it's like, what the fuck? And this one's like, oh, it's Adonis's past. Okay, can we just stop? Like, okay, dude. You retired in the movie. Just fucking do something else, please, please.
But what would you give the movie overall?
I give it an 8. Give it, straight 8. Because here's the thing: is that the movie. This is Michael B. Jordan's first time debut directorial.
Okay.
His first big project. I think Ryan Coogler still wrote this movie.
Okay.
And I don't think Sylvester Stallone wrote this.
He's in the movie still?
No, he's not in the movie. Have you seen Creed 3?
I saw Creed 2.
Yeah.
Not 3.
Oh, okay. So
does he die in the second one? I can't remember.
No,
he just is old.
No, he doesn't die.
Okay.
Yeah. It's rumored that he might come back for 4.
Okay.
But I won't spoil anything because I think it's still a worthwhile movie to watch. But it's an enjoyable movie and he incorporates a lot of like cool kind of like fight scenes. I think number 3 has the best fights.
Well, you had talked about how he's inspired by anime.
Yeah, so you can watch Michael B. Jordan like name off anime. He's like Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, and this is what kind of really hooked it for me. There's a boxing anime that I grew up watching, and it's still fucking going on. Is Hajime no Ippo, which is a direct boxing anime.
Okay, so
there was one fight at the beginning. You're like, oh, that's fucking Ippo. Like, it's so good. And I think out of all the fighting, this one's a bit more kind of magical fighting, but it's still rooted on base boxing principles.
Okay.
And it is real, but there is sequences that are kind of like, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
And it's good.
Okay.
You know what then?
So well worth watching. I guess it's available on streaming services.
Yeah,
now.
You can rent it on Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah, I'm watching shows on Apple TV. I've started Big Door Prize. I don't know if you've watched that one.
I saw it and I kind of already know what's all. It's a big inspirational show.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting.
It's darker than the trailers do a really poor job. So it was interesting. I was like, I saw the trailers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, also, by the way, I finished Shrinking.
Oh, nice. Did you like the last 2 episodes?
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
Even the last episode, I saw it. I'm like, I already know what happens.
Yeah, but if you want to hear our thoughts on Shrinking, 1 episode ago, 2 episodes ago,
no.
Is it not out?
It's not out.
Oh shit!
We have so many episodes.
Fuck yeah, we had to build a backlog.
So, we have to create a backlog because I'm moving.
Yeah.
So,
but I started Big Door Prize, which is the Chris O'Dowd show, and it's presented as a comedy. It's not a comedy.
Really?
It's like a surreal drama.
Yeah.
And it took me an episode for like me to like it. The first episode I was like, I don't know if I like this. And I think it's because I was expecting to laugh and it's not very funny. But it's clever and has a really clever premise. Basically there's a machine that shows up in the town, mysterious machine, and it gives you like your potential.
Fortune, isn't it a fortune cookie?
Kind of. It gives you like basically what your life's potential is.
Yeah.
And so the town kind of starts changing. Everyone's starting to live like the full potential.
Yeah, isn't it basically enough? It says your potential, but it's like, the darker meaning. It's like, oh, even though you have the potential to do it, you shouldn't do it.
Well, it's still a little early in the show. And so that's like the hook of the show.
Yeah.
And each episode follows a different character. And so at the beginning of the episode, you'll find out what their life potential is. You get their card.
Interesting.
And then you kind of like discover, and there's like a through line for the town of this drama and, you know, this kid that died and all this stuff. And then you find out like people have read their card and they don't know what it is yet. And then they'll often like end an episode by showing you someone's card, but then also set up someone else's card, but you don't know what it is. So you're like, I got to keep watching. I got to know.
Is it free? The machine just works for everyone?
It's like $2 or something.
Oh, it's so sad.
And so you have to put in your social security number and your fingerprints.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
it's like, I would love it. It's just a big Russian machine.
So I think that's, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but it's not explicit yet. Only 3 episodes are out. But I think that's going to be a plot thing of it, is that it's like clearly a data collecting.
Yeah. So, that's why, like, now you're saying that, it's like, oh, okay, that this show is darker than I thought.
Yeah.
Because Jillian and I watched it and we're kind of like, oh, is this just an inspirational show that you have? It's not too late to do what you want.
No, it's not I don't think it's as brilliant as Shrinking yet. I mean, it's only 3 episodes in. And at the end of this first episode, I look at Cass, I'm like, we don't have to keep watching if you don't want to watch this. Like, I was kind of just like, eh. But then partway through the second episode, it like clicked and I was like, oh, I'm really into this now.
Yeah. Watch Loot after
Sure.
the show. Don't expect big things from Loot.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think it's a good background show.
Okay.
Just like if you're going to cook, put Loot on. You're going to have to eat dinner, put Loot on.
Yeah. Okay.
But you just don't have to pay
service is it
attention.
on?
It's on Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, man, Apple TV.
Well,
I'm so excited. I want to watch Tetris.
I know. I wanted to watch it on the weekend. Cassie was like, I want to watch it, but just not right now.
Yeah.
I had a thought, and I'm curious what you think. Apple is the best service because it has the least amount of shows. Because I feel like even the bad Apple shows, there's like a minimum level of ambition / quality that they're hitting, where I like scroll through the 25 shows or whatever they have. They have like almost nothing, but I'm like, I would watch any of these and I think I would have an okay time. Whereas Netflix, they put out like 25 shows a fucking week, and 24 of them are gonna fucking suck.
Well, I mean, I think it's a whole trope of you ever watched the South Park episode about streaming?
Probably. I think I probably have. It's all.
Anyways, it's kind of like a take on streaming services, which they use as a play on words because it's like water rights for farmers.
Oh,
blah,
I
blah,
see.
blah. It's a good episode. Just watch it.
Yeah.
But it's like it's about how these like Kyle and the kids are Kyle Stan whatever. They make these little boats to service these streaming services, and the boats are shows. And because all these streaming services want shows, they start kind of like making all these great boats at the start that work really well.
Yeah.
And then eventually enough, they make so many and they just had to keep churning out shit just to hit the quotas.
Yeah.
That it's just not good anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a lot. It does way more in the stories, but it's like, I think that's the problem. I think when Netflix started, it was decent. Like, what was like Netflix's first show? Do you remember?
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
I feel like there was an excitement to each release Netflix had.
Yeah.
It's like Stranger Things, that was a big one.
Stranger Things was kind of like kicked everything off. That was like amazing. And even the last season was pretty cool. It's definitely not scary anymore. It's more
House
like
of Cards. Yeah, that was a huge deal.
Except for Kevin Spacey. But
but at the time, like, it was like, oh man, this is like fucking Breaking Bad. Like, it's like the Netflix Breaking Bad.
It's HBO. Yeah, I think they also made El Camino, which is the spinoff from Breaking Bad. And I think Better Call Saul, but I think that's HBO.
Yeah, I don't think that's
or AMC or not AMC, IFC, whatever.
Oh, Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
The new season of Arrested Development.
Oh god.
And then Lilyhammer, which I don't know. What
I think when we all saw Netflix when they started making TV shows, like, oh, please resurrect our really awesome shows that Fox and everyone canceled. And I think I was really hopeful that they would resurrect Firefly because it was like, oh, that's a cool show, but they didn't. No. But anyways, just I think Apple's in that sweet spot. But I think with Apple, because they are probably incorporating the core philosophy of Apple is to not make shit.
It's always funny watching, competitors come to consoles or to Steam Deck. And it's like, it doesn't matter how fucking good your machine is. Like, we just did a video at work about the Asus ROG Ally.
Is it good?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fucking so sick.
Yeah.
You know, twice as powerful as the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost more than twice as much. So
Yeah.
it doesn't fucking matter how good it is.
Yeah.
It's too much money. And
it's
so
too much money because Steam Deck's in that kind of like good spot.
A $400 base price
Yeah.
is the price of a console.
Yeah.
And that's $400 is digestible to people. They can fit that on like, you know, a paycheck or two.
Yeah.
There's like room for that.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 US, like,
yeah,
that's like your rent.
That's a lot of money. But I think too, the Apple has what's going for them.
Yeah.
Is,
Let me finish my point. The point is like Steam can subsidize the cost of the Steam Deck because they're going to sell you the games. They make the profit on the games. And so they just want another machine for you to play that will encourage you to spend money on Steam. So they can subsidize it, whereas ROG can't, INEO can't.
No.
Whereas, and I think there's something kind of like that with Apple TV, where Apple TV Plus doesn't have to be profitable in the same way that Netflix does, that Paramount Plus does, that like those exist to be a business unto themselves. Apple TV is part of a bigger ecosystem, and I think they have the vision to understand how that fits inside of that.
Yeah, because also it's like, you know, like at least I think 50% of the population who have smartphones use Apple.
Yeah.
And
it's about that,
you can probably use Apple TV all the way down to like iPhone 6 or iPhone 7 because it still works because you have the audience, and I think what they're trying to sell you is either a subscription service or Apple TV by itself, or what I have, it's called Apple One. I think it's called.
Oh, that's like their ultimate.
It's the ultimate thing that comes with like cloud storage, Apple Arcade, family plan, Apple Music. And
you're an iPhone guy?
Yeah.
No, I forgot.
iPhone 14 Pro Max,
for you,
baby,
man.
with the dbrand something skin.
I'm so sorry.
Go to
sucks.
dbrand.com/something. You don't like dbrand? No, you can say it public. It's fine.
I can't say anything.
Why?
They sponsor so much at Line Executives.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
They also sponsor us at MKBHD.
I like my dark plates a lot.
Yeah,
my original dark plates. I don't like the new.
Okay. Well,
yo, but the colored dark plates that they did a survey on, those look fucking fire. Anyways,
we'll talk about it later offline. But it's But anyways, yeah, I think it's just like it's another attraction to go into it. And what I like about the Apple kind of thing, it's going to touch base again. I think they just have an understanding is not to put out shit. Granted, Apple has put out shit products like Apple Mouse. I love the Apple Mouse. I loved the Apple Mouse back when it wasn't rechargeable. I liked it when you could put the two AA's in it. But now it's just kind of weird. But like also Apple Pencil sucks. It's like, well, it's a good product, but how to charge it really sucks.
Yeah.
I should call Sarah right now. I'm like, hey, 2-second quip. What do you think of the Apple Pencil? She'll probably say it sucks. And yeah, I think this the design philosophy. And so far with the show, all the shows I've watched, either they're not for me or they're really good. Because I think another one I want to kind of watch that kind of has a slow start was Eagle 6, or the kind of like a spy thriller, kind of like offshoot of SEAL Team that I like. And yeah, I think so far it's been, thumbs up. Because also Ghosted, I'm really, really excited for Ghosted.
Which one's Ghosted?
That's Chris Evans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Anna de Armas.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of shows like Schmigadoon. Cassie watched the first season.
Schmicago.
Well, that's the second season. It's going to be like Schmicago.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. I want to watch it, but she watched it without me. And she just started Morning Show. I'm not an Apple user.
Yeah, Morning Show. You gonna watch it?
Probably.
Season 1's fire.
And then it just it's not. It doesn't.
Okay. After you watch season 1, you start season 2. Watch the first episode and call me.
Okay.
Just like message me. Watch season 2. This is like give me like 2-word thoughts.
Okay.
This is like it's awesome or this sucks.
Yeah. I'm It's interesting because it's so different from the other ones, and it's not interested in populating it with just watch hours, and I appreciate that because like sometimes it's hard to find stuff on Netflix because its algorithm thinks it knows what you want, and sometimes it's right, but then a lot of the time I feel like I'm just constantly scrolling. And then I'll go into someone else's Netflix account that has a totally different amount of content presented, and I'm like, holy shit, there's so much stuff I want to watch, and I'm like, oh. Okay, yeah, Netflix doesn't really know what I want to see. They just think they know what I want to see.
Yeah, it's based on your own interests and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I had that situation with Netflix, but I think I used the VPN to like go to another country, and you go like, wow, there's so many things. And I'm like, wow, I remember talking to someone like, I can't believe it has this show. It's like, no, Netflix Canada has that. I was like, oh my God. But granted, okay, those really Netflix that suggests you shows to watch, and then those Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That does a horrible job.
Yeah.
Those like shows that I'm like digging in, like I'm spending like 10 minutes to find something. I'm like, you have this?
Yeah.
Why? Like this should be on the top. I don't care about this other show. Yeah. Oh, it's such a bummer. Like Prime has such good potential, especially since they acquired MGM.
Yeah, I don't know what I want from a streaming service. I feel like I just want less of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want any of them to succeed. I want them all to fucking burn.
Yeah. If I have an extra Apple account, I will give it to you. Because I usually sign up. No, wait. I have to see, because I know I'm signing up with T-Mobile when I go to the States.
Yeah. Let me know.
And then they give me some services, so I gotta fucking figure that out.
We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried.
But
let's get on to the main topic of our show.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm very worried about.
Yeah.
Just say Twitter.
Twitter, because they just fucked up today. So we're recording this podcast. This might be a bit dated. It's April the 3rd. So before the weekend happened, good old Elon, Master Musk, whatever fuck he wants to call himself
Elon,
today. Fuck up Musk. Man, fucking rise to fame of awesomeness, and just fucking literally the Batman 2 saying, you know, like,
you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Fucking villain.
But he's not even the villain. He's just a fucking joke.
He's a fucking comical. He's like literally tech Trump now.
Yeah.
So he made the announcement of your verified check marks are going to be disappearing unless you pay.
Yeah.
On April 1st. So we all waited for April 1st to happen. And I will admit, I am a Twitter Blue subscriber. But so here's the fucking thing about that is I did it because I like to undo tweet, because man, fuck, I fuck up my tweets.
But I feel like you bought it before Musk even bought Twitter.
Yeah,
like
you
had it like
I had a
day one almost.
Yeah, and then they had edit tweets. Where I'm like, oh, this is fucking sick. The way they did it is there was some problems with it, because I think for distribution, if you actually edit tweets, it's actually worse.
Oh, because it'll like stop pushing it?
It stopped pushing it, and then makes it kind of like how they kind of introduced it is like, oh, you tweeted twice in a row. So it really fucks up the tweet.
Yeah.
For our algorithm wise.
Just proofread.
Yeah. So you should just proofread. Oh, I use Grammarly. It's not a sponsor.
Our sponsor, Grammarly.
Grammarly, you want to fucking sponsor
You want to be
this?
not a fucking idiot online?
Use Grammarly.
Use Grammarly. Grammarly will fucking tell you.
Now Grammarly's kind of confused now, because sometimes I try to write things in American. And so things without U. So I try to like, color without U. It's like, don't you mean with the U? Color? And I go, no. We have to be American. No, sorry, Grammarly. But anyways, so I still have it. And also I deactivated it, and like, oh, you can get the verification thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I bought it again. And man, now just after April 1st, they've changed it now, saying, so here's the thing is that when you buy it and you get verification and it says because you did it with Twitter Blue, you get fucking witch hunted like hard.
Oh yeah, because it's embarrassing. You get the first response will always be that meme of the mannequin pointing and laughing.
Like,
motherfucker, this MF paid for Twitter.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, okay, cool. I have $7 American or $14 Canadian, whatever.
Not much.
It's a lot.
Not much.
It's a lot. Here's the thing. It's kind of stupid. You should not persecute the people who buy it, even though, yes, it's directly supporting Musk. You should really just start fucking like just bombing fucking Elon.
Okay. So I didn't think this episode was going to go this way.
Yeah.
I agree. People, don't deserve harassment for buying Twitter Blue.
Yeah.
But I also think that the way that Musk is shaping Twitter Blue, by buying it, you're endorsing his vision for it. And I think
Yeah.
it's sort of like an implied endorsement of him.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the big thing is that people are like, you like Elon Musk. And that could be true or it could not be true. But I think that's mostly what people are laughing at.
Yeah, so that's the thing, because I did a tweet. I'll link it, whatever. It's just like, oh, because now when he switched the verbiage. So the big thing is he switched the verbiage going, oh, this may have been a legacy notable account or they bought Twitter Blues to help prevent the witch hunt.
Well, okay, so yeah, we need to go all the way back.
Yeah, okay, you want to go, okay, how far back?
We have to go back to like November. We're basically...
When Elon walks through the door.
Yeah, so Elon walks through the door and, he's overspent buying Twitter. It's not worth $44 billion, but he committed to buying it $54 a share.
No, because he fucked up. Because he's
a fucking idiot.
He should not have bought Twitter.
He should not have bought Twitter. It was a terrible purchase. At $44 billion, it was a terrible purchase.
Yeah.
And so he is coming in. He's borrowed $13 billion of like investor money at a rate where he has to pay interest at $1 billion a year. The interest on his loan for Twitter is $1 billion
Who fucking negotiated that shit?
He was a fucking idiot. He got locked in and he tried to get out of it. Yeah. And then Twitter was like, and then they locked him in a legal battle and he was forced to follow through. So he has to make $1 billion just to pay the interest on the loan he took to finance this acquisition. So he is coming in hot, trying to make Twitter profitable.
Yeah. And
Twitter's not profitable basically ever since it's operated at a loss.
Yeah.
Which is not unheard of for a tech company.
Yeah.
They often, they're, speculative and they're like, their value is in like their brand.
It's the brand. It's the potential. The network potential. It is like, there is an argument to say is that network size is an investment. Let's just say this, like Amazon, I think until like 3 years ago was operating in the red.
Yeah. But I think that one's a little bit different.
It's different. It's 100% different. But like, it's just the argument of network size. Because you could potentially, this is what he probably saw, is like, oh, there was like, I think like 100 million Twitter users out there. And he's like, oh, if I can get like fucking $7. Oh, at the time, I think he first initially pitched it to be $20 each from them.
I don't remember that.
I could make a lot of money.
Well, so he at one point says he thinks he can make Twitter's revenue $26.7 billion a year. It's not gonna fucking happen.
No.
So I looked up, how much is Twitter Blue making?
Yeah.
Making about 2.4 million a month. So about 29 million a year. A little bit far off.
It's far off
from the 1 billion he needs to make just to pay off his interest. So I think going back, he comes into Twitter, he cuts half the jobs because he's like, I got to make this profitable right away.
Yeah.
And to him, he doesn't really get how it all works, but he's like, fuck it, I'll cut it and I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Not realizing that social media moves so quick that the damage is like kind of long-term and instant.
Yeah. And also he cuts like jobs of like, I think maybe I'm a little bit partial with this because those people, what's called the H-1B visa. And these people are immigrants that are working they are in America because they have the skill set to promote and work and develop Twitter to be better. And here's the problem. If you have a visa, like I'm
tied to your employer.
Yeah, and tied to your employer or the type of job. Even I'm subject to this right now. Like that kind of made me kind of like fucking scared. Is like, let's just say Marquez like lets me go. Like when I get there. I have to exit the country unless I find a job within X amount of time.
Yeah.
And for those people, they are in the same boat.
Yep.
So I was actually very angry about that. Yeah. I was emotionally based.
Of course, these people they transplanted their lives to work at this job and then they're being told in an email with the title line, your role at Twitter. They're like, you're kind of done. You're done.
And it's done like automatically too. Yeah. It's not like they decided. It's literally a lottery system, it sounded like.
I don't think it's quite a lottery system, but it's all bullshit anyway. So basically he comes in, he's trying to cut costs.
Yeah.
And for months it was like a saga of like he's firing people. He's trying to find the true hardcores. He sent people an email being like, okay, I'm gonna make an ultimatum. Either you decide to be like full hardcore or you leave right now. And everyone's like, and then way more people hit the like button of like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna take my severance package.
Yeah, I think the
go.
severance package was like 3 or 4 months or something.
Sure.
Like that. It was pretty decent in my opinion.
But he hasn't, as far as I understand, he hasn't paid out most of them. And so
Are you serious?
He's on the chopping block for a lot of money right now. And so he does his usual fuck up stuff. And so he's cutting costs to start to try and push things towards the green. And he's trying to find new revenue streams.
Mm-hmm.
And so he figures, subscription plan.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is the fucking future. And so what does Twitter offer? That's a value.
Yeah. Because like Twitter Blue existed, I think like at least beginning of 2022.
Yeah. But it didn't give a check mark at that point.
No. It was just literally
like,
editing, like undo tweets and then a couple like cool feature sets. Like you get better news.
Yeah.
You get verified news and stuff like that.
$3 a month at that point.
It was very affordable.
Because to me, yeah, $3 is still more than I want to pay for a fucking social media service.
Also, I think you get way less ads too, like really minimum ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think like there's a value in like, dirt cheap social media.
Yeah.
But I think what he saw was the thing that is of value for Twitter is the check mark. That's what everyone wants. Because the check mark means you're legit. You're someone important. You represent a brand. You do this.
He literally did the Trump method, is that he was like, current, like he attacked them. Mm-hmm. Like how Trump usually attacks groups of people. Yeah. It's like, Twitter's verification system is so corrupt. And there's no rhyme or reason to do it
versus the people.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Colton and I had like a funny like running thing on Twitter, like our usual thing, like every 2 months is like, post up, see if we can get verified. Good fucker, like motherfucker, people like Nick Light who gets fucking verified, like fuck you. Yeah. But no, I love Nick. But you fucking got verified.
You gotta. What category to choose?
I don't know. I think it was like the early days of self-verification where you can kind of like choose whatever, and then progressively it got stricter and stricter. Yeah. I did it when it was getting stricter, and I just couldn't get it.
Yeah,
Colton couldn't get it. I think even Dennis.
I thought Colton got it at some point.
I think he paid for it.
Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah. But anyways,
you're gonna have to make fun of him for that.
Yeah, I gotta make fun of him for that. But yeah, he just got it progressively. They made Twitter progressively worse.
Well, we can talk about that, because I think what we really, Musk identified that the blue check mark is the coolest thing that Twitter has to offer. It's like this badge of honor.
Yeah.
And so he, like the true genius he is, has systematically dismantled any perceived value that blue check mark has had, like in a way that seems like he's trying to fucking tank the company.
Yeah.
So like
maybe he's doing it for the insurance money.
I mean, I'm sure everyone saw it happen all at once. So he, made it that people could pay for verification, and that meant that people made parody accounts that were verified. So it looked like
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Big ones were that pharmacy company and Lockheed Martin.
So okay, wait. Before you actually say that, there's an argument with Lockheed Martin that their stock was already gonna tank a little bit.
Yeah.
So because I made a technical analysis on it. I'm like, the stock was already heading down before this tweet was even going, and I think this tweet just kind of like nudged it a little bit. Full disclosure, I do have investment shares in Lockheed Martin. I think I bought them at $420.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. But they were $470 at the time, and then when that tweet came out, it went to $440. Yeah. I was kind of pissed, but I looked at it a little bit. I'm like, no, the stock was going to go down anyways.
I think it's the same with that pharmaceutical company. Like if you look at the trend, it's not like it was like, going up and then all of a sudden down. Yeah. But I definitely think that something happens. Yeah. And like the other one, that it was like Illy or whatever.
Illy, the coffee company. Yeah.
No, that's the pharmacy company. And they're like, we're gonna cap insulin at $35, and then the stock price crashed.
Yeah. But it recovered so well afterwards.
Yeah, and it's funny now they did actually cap the cost of insulin, and it's just funny. No. Basically, that was like step one of dismantling it, was basically removing the validity. Yeah. And they eventually stepped that back, and they're like, whoa, we're gonna figure it out. But then they re-rolled it out again with the thing where if you hover over, you can see, is a legacy Twitter account, is it a paid Twitter account, is it this? And he was hard banning anyone impersonating people that where it was clear that it was a parody.
Yeah, even then, it's like, this is a parody account. He still banned people that did say it too.
You can see that it's just his fragile ego, because he very specifically targeted people that were parodying him.
Yeah.
So anyone that was doing Elon Musk parody accounts, they got in trouble. And, he's free speech man. And he was like, I'm not going to shut down the kid who's doing the Elon Jet Twitter. But then he did. And he made it. There was a video that was going around about his kid, being harassed by a weird stalker person. And he used that as the excuse of like, I was being doxxed. It came out later that is totally unrelated, totally not anything to do with the jet or any location. Way. And it was like so far away. I can't remember the exact details.
And I think a bunch of reporters who were reporting on the jet.
So that was a big thing. Too. So anyone reporting on it got banned. And then he would go into Twitter Spaces to explain it, and people would ask him hard questions. And he'd be like, no, you dox, you get banned. You dox, you're banned.
Oh my God.
And so he just kind of basically... he was working to dismantle the veneer people had. I think we all knew he was a bit of a jackass, but he still had a lot of people, the illusion of genius.
Yeah.
Where you're like maybe he's just fucking smarter and like, we don't get it. But very quickly, I think the whole world started to see, oh, he's just a jackass with a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, because like he was like making arguments of people going like, he got like a lot. He's a typical... He's not the self-made millionaire that you believe him to
No, he got his money from his rich dad who owned a fucking emerald mine.
Yeah, well, he's like, I remember him attacking a reporter saying, it's like, where do you get this information? You should get your valid facts. And then the reporter just goes, here's an interview that you directly said. Yeah. And he's like, I think he just went, okay.
Well, and so to me, he just is someone who's really unwell mentally.
Yeah.
And I think he erased that fact from his mind. Like, I think he kind of doesn't believe that anymore because
I think he's surrounded by yes men.
100%. And I think he believes his illusion more than anyone else on this planet.
Yeah. Cause like, I mean, like you see a lot of things that he says of his work ethic.
Yeah.
It's, to me, maybe the American people love that kind of work ethic. Like I sleep 3 hours, 4 hours a day, a night. And I sleep at the office. I'm making things happen, blah, blah, blah. It sounds nice, but man, like from me, who I have gone through that and I still kind of go through it today. Now I'm getting a little bit better.
Good.
But like that is so mentally damaging that you literally, I'm not too sure if you've ever experienced this or maybe our listeners have. Have you ever like felt like the haze? Like a literally haze, like everything you do, there's like fog.
Like a disassociation?
Well, just like feels like there's a fog everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And then
dude, I'm straight up mentally ill.
Yeah. I mean, like that's how I felt like when I was going through that. Like there was always like I was always dreading. I think it was like a fog of dread.
Yeah.
Because you can't see what's in front of you, but you know it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And you're always expecting it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's like in that mode. And he's so self-subscribed. He's like almost he's self-subscribed to stuff that he's like entertaining himself, going, yeah, this is what's going on. This is how you do it. This is how you become a billionaire. This is how you become like the CEO of Tesla. Because I fucking hate it when I have so many of my friends like, yeah, I'm going to be successful. I just read all these CEO books. I'm like, no. Like, you don't understand. Like, those books are fun to read, but you cannot use those books as a fucking guide to be a billionaire because all those situations and circumstances are going to be inherently different. Like I had my friend, like she was like, yeah, I just read like Musk's book and I just quit school and I'm going to hustle. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing now? And she did some multi-level, multi-level marketing.
MLM. Yeah. MLM.
And it's just like, you just fucked yourself. Like literally fucked yourself. Yeah. You're literally better off now just doing an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's like, and you
go work as a server.
Yeah. You'll probably make way more money.
Make $200 a night or whatever.
Yeah. And it's just like, he's so self-subscribed to his bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I think for him to carry on, let me be clear. There is no ethical billionaires. To make $1 billion, there's a level of exploitation and dehumanization that has to happen.
Yeah.
Where you, by nature, if you're a billionaire, you're a bad person.
Yeah. I will agree with that because, like, I can't remember exactly, but Adam Conover.
That's the Adam Ruins Everything
guy?
Yeah.
So he has a YouTube video that does this really well because, I think it was like think 6 or 8 months ago, Patagonia's like billionaire owner was like, yeah, I'm going to give away all my wealth to my nonprofit. Listen to that. To my nonprofit trust, like a trust system that his kids manage.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't remember the exact details, but watch that video and it just completely agrees with you, is that all billionaires are not ethical. Warren Buffett, like, I love him, but like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to give away most of my money. I'm like, there's a reason why you give away most of your money, quote unquote, giving away most of your money.
Yeah.
He's just going to go to Bill Gates and he's just going to hold it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard because we've gotten so used to hearing billions that I feel like when a billionaire's like, I'm giving away all my money, and they keep, like $70 million for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, going to one of your buddy's trust funds that you can just hold on to yourself.
Yeah.
But it's still like $70 million is so much more money than we can
stupid
fucking
amount
fathom.
of money. Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem, is people just lose perspective. And I know that I have lost perspective versus where I was, 10 years ago. I've forgotten what it's like to be utterly fucking, well, that's not true. I remember what it's like to be broke.
Yeah.
But it's still like now I have enough money that I can impulse buy $100 thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, back then.
Oh, that's cute.
Was that? Yeah, shut up, Jono. I know you're richer than me, you fucking asshole. I could, if I wanted to, I could impulse buy like a $5,000 thing. Okay. No. It's like not that end of the world. Like, I got an Atari 7800 and I got a Philips CDI this week because they were both like, they were cheap. They were $100 each. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. Like, it's such an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Doing that. Like, but even today, well, sorry. Yeah. Just to clarify too, because like I've been broke before, but I know I will always put an asterisk on it because I was broke, but living in my parents' house. So
okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, the only thing I was really
I wish I could live with my fucking parents.
Yeah, I was lived with my parents until 23, 24. Yeah, but anyways, I was like, I incurred a stupid amount of debt, like $8,000 of debt because I went out every night. Ate lunch out every night, like just doing this typical stupid
young
things.
Person stuff.
Yeah, but I was able to pay that off after a year of just grinding. Yep. Even Jillian, like we grinded it out just to pay off all the debts, and then by the time I was 24, 25, I was able to buy a house.
Yep.
Yay! A townhouse. Well, full disclosure, but yeah, it's just like I always have to be thankful. You always have you okay, even though you're kind of quote unquote listeners here, you feel like you're doing really bad, but you always have to remember how bad is it relatively to someone else that could be going on. That's how I kind of look at it. Because, right now, unfortunately, Jillian does not have a full-time job, but I always had to reinsure her going, it's okay. Don't worry. You're doing things that you couldn't have done if you had a full-time job. First things, you're helping me move. Yeah. You're helping me doing all this immigration shit, which is fucking annoying. Yeah. And also, she's writing a book. Well, she's writing a book. Go when it's released. I think we're releasing in May.
Shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So when that book is out, go do it. But she's writing a book. She's doing all these things, and I always had to remind her, going, "Hey, don't worry. Like we make enough money here together that I can support you. So." Just be cool about it. Yeah. And it could be worse.
Well, and it's like, it's tough because I get that feeling of like, well, I should be doing this, but it's also, I should talk to her because like, reminder, it's not like you guys are going to go hungry because she doesn't have a job. And that's a nice comfort is that, you guys are well off enough that it's not like life or death.
No. I think it's just the fact that she feels, which I understand, is that, you feel like if you're not working full time, you're getting dull.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, I definitely know that feeling. I've done like when I was freelancing, there would be, months where I worked 80-hour weeks the whole month. And then the next month it's like a week or two or three on end.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I found at the end of 3 weeks, I just felt dumber and like worse and like spiritually just like, diminished, like dull.
Yeah.
And so I totally get that.
Yeah. Because I just had to kind of go, Just don't worry. Do things that are productive.
Mhm.
Just find them out. And then she did.
Yeah.
She's writing a book. She's writing Medium articles about marketing in the 30s. Like, she's doing a lot of good things. But I know this is really off track, but I'm just saying it's like, he's forgotten how, like, Elon Musk has forgotten how to hustle appropriately.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I think undeniably he's a good businessman in some ways. Like, he knows
Yeah.
he's made decisions that have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think he's made a lot of bad decisions, and he's had someone described it to me where it's like, it was such a good analogy. Where basically, like, being middle class means like you have like a certain amount of shots to make it work, and like you can make it work and you can hit it big and do crazy. Being poor is like you might have one shot, and being rich is like you have just like unlimited shots. No matter how much you fail, you'll always have another chance.
And also,
that's Elon Musk. It's like, it doesn't matter how many bad choices he makes.
Yeah.
He would have always succeeded because he has so many opportunities.
Yeah, because like he has, like, I know most cases where he can be even a net positive too after failing because insurance.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you remember the Simpsons episode when they're making the nuclear power? No, was it? What's that comic book character? Whatever. And like, anyways, they fail. And the Hollywood producers come back to Hollywood. It's like, it's okay. It will just lean on us for support until you guys get back on your feet. It's like, yeah, rich people can help rich people. Yeah. And they will help each other out because you know what's more valuable than $1 billion?
Favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I do favors.
Well, yeah. And it's the thing that's tough is like, one of the things that I wish I was really wealthy with is I wish I could just fucking be generous as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like part of why I'll never be rich is that I am generous with what I have. Like, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I just like to like, give stuff. I like to provide stuff. I like to feed people. I like to like when I go out, like buy people drinks and stuff. And it's a stupid fucking financial decision. And I sometimes regret it because I'm like, man, I wish I just had a little more money in my fucking bank account.
Yeah.
But I'm also happy to be able to do that for people. Yeah. But that's not the rich people way.
Yeah.
They only do that for stuff that people will owe them for.
Yeah. So I have a good Rolodex of favors. But it's not like I killed someone and they owe me a favor. It's kind of like I can call on them to give me advice. Like those are the kind of favors that I would rather have. Don't do things, or it's either give me advice or give me an introduction. And I've used those favors very well and very strategic. Because I can't name names in this one.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. No, I actually talked to Bill Gates' assistant.
That's cool.
But it's fine. They were just like, hey, interview opportunity. I was like, no, not right now. Nothing right now. It's just we're busy. Don't worry about it. But I think it was one company that was really you listeners here probably know this company, but I'm not going to name them. Introduced me to this other company that I became friends with, and then now we might using that relationship. Like I called in a favor from that one company to know this company, and now we might be doing more business in company. But in turn, to repay that favor, I did something for that company. So it's like, favors are so much more valuable than monetary things. Like if they remember you helping them move, or let's just say for if you're going to do small times, just keep like, don't keep a tally to be vindictive. Just keep a tally like, oh, hey, I think I can ask a favor that isn't that too much higher than what they asked of me. And if introduction or a kind of like advice is usually pretty easy.
Well, it's funny. There's like the human phenomenon of when you help someone out, you will like them more because your brain is like, part of it is that your brain is like, you help them. That means you like them just as like a survival instinct of like, oh, I didn't waste my time. I actually like them. Yeah. And so it's like, actually, if you want to make friends, a good thing to do is ask for help.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, it's like, cause I've been networking more because just the fact that I know more people, like I know some people in Night Media now because they help me out. I help them out. And also 2 large influencers, like these are big influencers I now talk to on kind of a daily basis. I'm not trying to name drop, but just like, cause
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I'll tell you later who they are. But because it's fun. But I don't want to do it here. I just want to kind of prove a point of just like have like open dialogues. And if you can provide them value and they can provide you value, it's a good synonymous friendship. Like I do have a lot of friends, like you're my friend, but also business friends too. But like for me, I have more business friends than real friends.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And like I get that because I definitely have a hard time maintaining like friendships just because I don't have time for anything outside of projects and work and stuff.
I do. Here's one thing that's been really bad, but I kind of have to do it, is that fucking I hate these friends that just always will say this repeatedly. Not Sarah, because I know Sarah a lot more, but there's some friends like, oh, I'm really bad at just getting back to you, or I just don't know, like they're just not good at reciprocating. Like if I have to reach out to them all the time and they never reach back out, that means that's a bad relationship.
It's tough. I heard a piece of advice from a couples therapist, I don't know, however many years ago, and it stuck with me a lot, where if it doesn't feel like you're doing 90% of the work, you aren't doing half. And it's like, it should feel like, unfortunately, the human nature is that like to do your fair share feels like you're doing way more than what's fair. Yeah. And I always found that a tough phenomenon to get around. And I often remind myself, like when I'm at home and I'm like, I wish the dishes were clean. I wish this was that. I feel like I'm doing all of the chores. And it's like, actually, no, I'm sure if I move to the outside of me, it would feel like I'm not doing my fair share. And I feel like that sometimes with friends where I'm always like, it always feels like I have to initiate, but I think everyone feels that way. Yeah. And I think everyone feels like they did their one message and like, oh, I didn't hear back, or like it was a no, that's it. I'm never doing it again. Yeah. And it's tough because I know Cassie feels the same way. It's like, she's like, none of my friends reach out to me. It's always me. And I'm like, yes, but like maybe they feel that way too. Like it's like, it's so hard. Yeah. I'll talk to Cassie. Sure. I'll go, hey Cassie, what's up? Hi Cassie. But yeah, no, just like this friend, I know for a fact that like, if you look at the message history, it's always me like reaching out. So things like that, when I see that, and also when I reach out, it takes like this person, like maybe sometimes even like 2 months to get back to me. And you look at her Instagram story and she's always out with friends. So it's like, okay, fuck this bitch. Yeah. You're out. Like, it's like, I'm just not going to waste. I think that's totally fair. Yeah. If someone has demonstrated a pattern of disrespect like that, I think it's fine. Yeah. You're allowed to pick your friends. Yeah. I think that's like something that's often misunderstood these days, is there's a difference between, you know, being an asshole and being picky with your friends. You're allowed to be picky with your friends. You're not allowed to be assholes in how you like reject people or push them away. Yeah. But you're allowed to, you know, have high standards of friendship. Yeah. I mean, like, cause I have to now reevaluate how I approach this, because I used to like live in it. It's like, oh, I just need more business acquaintances than friends, because I have a lot of friends. Yeah. But now, because I'm moving, or when you listen to this, I have moved. Yep. I have almost straight no friends. The jaws of hell. Yeah, jaws of hell in New Jersey. No, I have to kind of reevaluate that. So Jill and I was like, okay, when we move, we have to like be super friendly. We can't be introvert hermits all the time. And like, this will be outgoing. We'll invite people to dinner parties. Yeah. We have to do all the shit that we usually hate, but then we just have to establish a network, a safety net of people that help us out. What I've always found is like, I find Americans much more gregarious in the sense that like they're much easier to approach and talk to than Canadians are. They're, for better or for worse. Americans often will, you know, occupy more space, like figuratively. Yeah. In the sense that like they will make themselves known and they will tell you what they're thinking. Yeah. And sometimes you're like, hey, it's not appropriate. Like, just chill. Like, get back in fucking line and chill. Yeah. But I also found it's a lot easier to make friends in the States than it is in Canada. Interesting. Well, I mean, that makes sense, because I'm looking at all my coworkers, which I'm friends with. I'd like to think they're both business and friends, but you see some of them, man, they have a huge network. You just see them Instagram stories, their Twitters and everything. Not saying like they have big clout, but just like the amount of people they've interact with. Yeah. And have meaningful relationships. It's great. So I'm like, now if they're like, okay,
maybe it's an East Coast thing too.
Yeah,
And
East
also the
Coast is
American-
definitely more social than West Coast. West Coast is very like you live in your bubble.
Yeah, I mean, you look at East Coast, like houses aren't that big. Like houses are like built in the 1850s. I saw a house. I was like, ooh, I kind of want this house. It's $600,000 US, which is still a lot of money.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
But
Jono.
it's built in 1850s. And I was like showing Jill. No, it looks sweet.
Yeah,
I'll show you the house. I'm like,
sure.
it's like a Victorian era house.
The
And
amount of upkeep though. It's
yeah, I
really
know.
nice.
But it's like when you see this house, you're like, oh, that's fucking dope.
That's fair. I would love. I remember sometimes when I fantasize about having a ton of money,
Yeah.
I'll like look on REW or whatever, and there was like a $4 million house in New West that was like 100 years old or whatever.
Really?
And it was sick. And I was like, you'd want to restore it and do all the
Yeah.
fun stuff. But old houses are sick.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, I wonder how many ghosts are in here.
At least 6.
At least
minimum 6.
Minimum
ghosts.
every 100,000, there's probably one ghost.
Oh, easy.
Every bedroom, 2 ghosts.
Yeah. In one of the bedrooms, they're probably still fucking.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, anyways, digressing. Really digressing. Okay, so history of Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. So we're through the like initial stage of verification, but basically Musk has been, floundering, trying to figure out how to monetize the check mark.
Yeah.
And, he did all these things. And most recently, he's made it that it used to be when you hover over the check mark, you click the check mark, it would say what the check mark is for. Is it for a legacy account that was earned or is it paid? And people would hover and laugh at people that had paid for them.
Which is me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think this was a really smart and nefarious change.
Yeah.
Now when you hover over it, it says it could be that they paid for it or it could be a legacy verified
here's
account.
the fucked up thing. I didn't look at it too hard. So because I made a joke going, yeah, my account was definitely legacy. I didn't pay for this. It was an obvious joke.
Yeah.
People roasted me. I knew they were joking too because they knew my joke.
Yeah.
But there's one person that kind of freaked me the fuck out because I didn't read the code too much. So you looked at the metadata. So it's like pushing, I think, F11 on Chrome, something. And he looked at the code of the verification. And I think I didn't look at too hard. I think you can still see on the code end if it's paid or it's legacy.
Yeah, and you can install a script to change the thing.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, someone did that. So I was like, holy shit.
And I think it all comes down to the fact that by trying to monetize the check mark, the value of the check mark is nothing.
Yeah.
And so now the latest thing is they're going to charge businesses $1,000 a month to keep their check marks.
A fucking gold check mark, though.
A gold check mark. But $1,000. But they're going to allow like the top 1,000 or top 10,000 businesses to keep theirs for free.
Yeah.
And so, okay, 10,000 businesses are verified, and then everyone else is having to pay for the check mark. Nobody's going to pay $1,000 fucking dollars.
So you know who's not going to have to pay? Elon Musk is not going to have to pay. The Boring Company doesn't have to pay.
Yeah.
Tesla, obviously.
Well, none of his companies. I wouldn't expect that. But I know Kind of Funny Games, which is like a gaming, content creation company that I enjoy. They said, hey, we're going to have the gold check mark. We did not pay for it. We got an email being like, hi, you guys are good. You guys get the free one. And so it's creating this weird fucking tiered system where you can just pay money to have the same amount of clout. Another thing that happened recently is he said, oh, yeah, your For You page?
Yeah.
Only verified. And that's how he phrases it.
Yeah.
Verified, not Twitter Blue users.
Yeah.
Verified users will be appearing on a For You page, and then they backpedal a little bit, being like, well, if you subscribe directly to them, they'll still be on your For You page.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I kind of made it. I wanted to have people make a title of a video called like $7 to be popular.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, something must have happened because because in my head, like I'm not a coder, but I can feel changes in the algorithm and stuff because I've had tweets like, again, my Twitter is just me either trying to promote MKBHD on merch and whatever, or I play a game. I've developed a game since doing Short Circuit is that, to do really well, you need a title and thumbnail.
Yes, of course.
Twitter is fucking
it's
just
literally
that.
just a thumbnail title.
So I try to do fun things to how do I get them to click on a thing to increase engagement, and does the engagement increase the amount of times it gets more impressions, and et cetera, et cetera. And I figured out what the system is a little bit. So, if you want to be popular on Twitter, this is how you do it. Likes mean nothing. Likes are just garbage. Like if someone likes it and doesn't leave a comment, it's not doing well, baby. If someone comments and likes it, you're doing good. And if someone likes, comments, and quotes tweets or retweets, you're fucking gold. So how I kind of did that was one tweet I did was like 250 likes, only 10,000 impressions. Really weird. So in my next tweet, I got like, eventually enough the same amount of time, like 250 likes, but 30 comments and replies.
Yeah.
It did I think 100,000 impressions.
Okay.
So it's very different.
Yeah.
And to do that, you just ask like really weird questions.
Yeah.
So I think one of my best ways is like, are you feeling this old yet? And you just kind of put old technology up.
Yeah.
People fucking interact the shit out of that.
Well, it's always interesting to, one of the first things I learned about, social media engagement is people do exactly what you tell them. Yep. And so if you're like this post, not everyone, but there will be a higher number of people that will like a post just because after everything you said, like this for the whatever reason. Yeah. Or like it's the same. That's why people say that at the end of videos is because.
No, that's what Mr. Beast literally says. Yeah. Because if you don't say it, they're not going to think about it. Yeah. If you say it, they might even 10%, 1,000 people, 10% might subscribe to you. That's a lot.
Yeah. And so it's important to be direct and literally say, and engagement is so key in that way. And quality engagement is not.
Yeah.
But
I only really bring that up because now with the $7 is that you're going to have more impressions. So, I mean, inherently, I know what he's going to do. If you don't pay, he's going to suppress your account.
Well, that's 100%. To be honest, I feel like that's already happened. Yep. So I was pretty active on Twitter. And I felt a shift in my engagement almost as soon as Twitter Blue became a focus for Twitter. I could feel my engagement diminish.
Yeah, because I remember, because you have more followers than I do, which is cool. But I remember every time you tweeted before all this shit went down, you'd get I think 500 to 1,000 likes.
Yeah, I'd say between 300 to 1,000.
It was a good amount. But even the most recent one, which I'd liked, and I didn't got podcasts to like it, it only got 300 likes.
Yeah, I don't get much engagement anymore. And part of it is that I'm just not as active anymore because Twitter is kind of a repulsive platform. Yeah. But I definitely felt a shift. And when you look at posts, the top posts are always Twitter Blue subscribers because they're being pushed to the top. And so it creates an extra level of volume for the people that are willing to subscribe to Twitter Blue, and present company not excluded. Most people that are, supporting Musk in this way are not people that I share political values with. Yeah. And so often it feels like these bullshit views are being boosted because they're willing to pay, and it's only getting worse. And so now you pay for visibility, you pay for boosting, you're going to pay to be on someone's For You page. Yep. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to see it on the platform. So then it's will Twitter just become just a total cesspool of bullshit views? Probably. Yeah. Well, I mean, but then it's they won't be able to make, so the whole thing doesn't make any sense because the whole thing they want to do is make money. Yeah. One, they scared away all the ad providers. Yeah. It's what I found the number. It's compared to last year, ads are down 60%. Yeah. So it's what was once, a $4 billion business for Twitter is bringing in, I think, it's 48 million a month. Right? Yeah. I think if you want to advertise on Twitter, which I will say we do, Let's Wing It podcast, we do advertise on new episodes. Hell yeah. And they do well, actually. I think we get 100 to 200 listeners from that. Oh, cool. Which is fine. Yeah, there you go. But it's the thing. It feels like it's way cheaper now because they need more people. So during Super Bowl they changed the pricing to draw advertisers back, and it worked. They brought back a lot of the advertisers.
Apple's back. Apple's on it,
and so I don't think that Twitter is currently in its death throes. Yeah. As even though Elon Musk is I'm working so hard to keep Twitter out of bankruptcy. I'm bro, you're the one that's choke slamming
it was actually doing okay. Yeah. I think
it was a cool platform. Yeah. And now it's embarrassing.
Well, here's the thing is that I tweeted this out and I deleted it because it was no engagement. I was I guess this was a bad tweet. Is that because this is April 3rd. they changed the Twitter logo to the Doge fucking. Oh shit! Shut up.
Sorry, Siri.
So this April 3rd. So they just changed the Twitter logo to a Doge logo.
Oh my god!
And so everyone's suspecting that it's because he wants to pump Dogecoin to dump out Dogecoin. But anyways, so it's just feels like every time I'm on Twitter, they talk about Twitter. It's like I used to go on Twitter so I know what's going on in the world, especially the Ukraine stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I get so upset with that Doge thing that I actually started a Mastodon, yeah.
Oh, the other competitor.
The competitor.
Yeah. That's the problem for me is that I don't enjoy social media.
Yeah.
And I am lucky enough that I have 20 million.
Whoa, what's
20,000 followers on Twitter, which is cool. But like the idea of having to build that again from scratch, I'm like, that sounds exhausting. I'd rather just not be on social media.
Yeah. Well, I just go to, that the other one. I'm not going to repeat the name because fucking, I don't know. Just for the fact because it's cleaner and easier. And if I want to see cool things, I can see cool things. I will maintain my Twitter one because it is cool. I'll be honest. It is fucking cool that I have 17,000 people willing to hear my bullshit or read my bullshit and follow me for my updates. Because it is, everyone says clout is bad, but if you have clout, it's fucking cool.
Well, it was nice when I got screwed over by U-Haul to be able to like call them out on Twitter and then have them like call me 7 times to try and apologize and figure it out.
When was that?
When I moved here, that would have been last August.
Oh, what happened?
Basically, I had reserved a truck and it was an after hours pickup, and I go to the place and they didn't have a truck for me. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so I call, I'm like, hey, what the fuck? There's supposed to be a truck. Like I have people coming over now because my time is like a weird nighttime.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, so sorry. Yeah, they didn't get to it. There's a truck in Abbotsford. And I was like, I don't want to go to Abbotsford. Okay, but yeah. And I was like, okay, but like I'm not paying for, the extra gas and mileage for picking up. They're like, yeah, that's not how it works. You're going to be paying the extra mileage and gas. And I was like, fuck you.
Oh my God.
You are the reason why I have to drive further, lose my time, and go. Like, there's no way I'm covering that. And they're like, no, that's just how it works. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so I got nowhere going through customer service. And I was just like, all right, call them out on Twitter. And then very quickly, I got it all reimbursed and I got like a credit. And I was like, okay.
So, I mean, like cloud can be used for good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's selfish good.
That's selfish good. But also like the new kind of like, actually want to touch one of that because we talked about this, is the fucking witch hunts on Twitter about making fun of people who have Twitter Blue or subscribing to it. Yes, I do agree that people are witch hunting people who do that because it is a direct support of Elon Musk. But I mean, like sometimes to me, it's like, are they actually doing it to witch hunt to hit Elon Musk, or is it an easy way to get engagement to their account?
I think there's a lot of different factors, and I think it's hard to generalize any specific behavior across a broad group of people in that way. I think there are people that are like frustrated and angry, and they are lashing out in a way, devaluing the check mark to hurt Elon Musk. And I think that is a valid reading of that.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of people that only post shit on social media because they want clout and they want, engagement and they want that. They don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like you look at most, news anchors, like they don't really believe anything. They just, they got hired by a certain channel, so they're going to say certain things.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also a real channel. And then some of them are just like fucking weird, mentally ill people that are just need to bully incessantly.
Yeah.
And then, there's a million other reasons.
Yeah. Because I had I think my sister, no, was it my sister? No, maybe my sister-in-law. She was like, wow, you're a pretty big deal on Twitter. I was like, it's not that much compared to the people I know. But then she's like, but some people say fucked up things on your replies. I'm like, yep, welcome to my life. Thumbs up. Like, so I just ignore most of them. Well, I guess I built up that mental fortitude from doing Short Circuit for so long that it's like, oh, ignore. Ooh, this is
that's a real comment.
There's a real criticism that I will follow to my heart that hurts me, but I will take this pain.
Yeah. Well, I think there is, good things that happen on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I also think we are so far. I think something that ruined the millennial generation, and I hope that Gen Z is a little bit better, is we grew up in a time that, things were hidden and in the dark.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we're doing activism by just talking about it.
Yeah.
And it is important to talk about it. It's important to, bring things to light so that we can figure out how to change it and improve the world we live in.
Yeah.
But I feel like our people our age are content with just talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's like just going on social media and being like, I can't believe they did this. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's this. And like, I feel like people our age aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah. That's the thing is that I remember I was going through tenant applications for my house.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I will snoop on my applicants through Facebook because that's how I was accepting people. And there was one person that was similar age to me, and I looked through her profile picture. She had every single like Black Lives Matter, and then even the reverse one, like Blue Lives Matter.
Oh, weird.
I was like weird. And then that the rainbow,
play all sides, so
like literally like
everything.
Hey, she can switch easily.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because it was like to me, I'm like, are you actually helping anything? Because like even like when my mom passed away, everyone's like, oh, thoughts and prayers. And I was just getting kind of pissed. Like I was grieving. So I was like kind of like internally lashing out at people. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I don't care about your fucking like sorry and hope you do better. It's like you're fucking not doing anything.
Yeah, you just want to do the bare minimum to not feel like you did nothing.
Yeah. And then it kind of goes over to like the conflict in Ukraine. It's like, oh, thoughts and prayers for those people. I'm like, fuck you. What are you actually doing? Did you donate money? Did you send some stuff? Yeah. Are you fighting on the front lines?
Yeah.
Fuck you. But like, to me, it's like, at least they're talking about it. And if like, for me, I played a social media game now, like a little bit more. Hey, they said thoughts and prayers. That means probably every thoughts and prayers and bullshit account, they're going to spread it at a multitude of 5 times. So 1,000 people did it. Cool. I got 50,000 people saw my tweet.
Sure.
Yeah. That's how I kind of look at it now and try to make it okay.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there is nothing wrong with, sending positive thoughts and like encouragement and kindness. Like, I love getting kind words and love and stuff. But I think I am expressing a frustration I feel in myself where I'm like, I want to, be a positive force. And it's like realizing that, I can post shit on Twitter and we can say things on Twitter. Yeah. But that's like, 0.01% of the good you actually could be doing. Yeah. If you went out in the real world and did things. So.
Yeah. I do plan when I go to New Jersey to probably volunteer more.
Cool.
Like I do those more like here is actually weird. Like when I was trying to do like a soup kitchen kind of thing. Yeah. There's a wait list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good. I'm like, oh, awesome.
But then it's like, well, wait, what?
Like, oh, so how do I donate to get up? Like, going on. But over there's so many more like outreach programs. So I'm gonna plan to do something because I bring this up because like thoughts and prayers are great. I can do the social media game, but it's like if you're not actively doing something, it's kind of like the same thing of like, oh, you complain about the government, but do you vote? And I know a lot of people who complain, but they don't vote.
What's the point?
Yeah, there's a fucking point.
Yeah, and it's like, it might not change anything this time, but like if you and all the people like you started voting, it would change how the system works and like who is gonna like rise to power. Like it really fucking matters.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was like 2 years ago. I think there was an election on the island that was like down to like 40 votes spread. Yeah, so I was like, oh look, it does count.
Well, right now, at the time of filming, by the time it's out, there will have been an election in Wisconsin for a Supreme. No, I can't remember what it is, but basically it'll like decide the next Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin. Ooh. And Wisconsin's going through a really bad time of gerrymandering where even though it's a very purple state where they're like 50-50 Republican Democrat, it's like 70% of the representatives are Republican because of the gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering's so shit.
And when they tried to change it, it's a whole complicated thing, but right now I think it's April 8th or something. There's an election in Wisconsin that's going to be super important for how the country moves forward. Yeah. And it's we're going to be each fucking vote is going to matter so fucking much.
You know what I'm actually pretty excited about is the next election. Because I'm gonna be in New Jersey, which is gonna be like,
oh my god,
ground zero to everything.
Yeah.
So we're gonna probably do a couple podcasts, and I'm gonna be like, here's my experience going to New York City this week. It was shit.
Well, I mean, Trump got indicted, and there was supposed to be a protest from all his MAGA people.
I think like 10 people showed up.
Yeah, and
I think no one cares anymore.
I think some people really care.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people. I think the like luster is sort of faded, but that doesn't mean that the empowerment of the fringe, like terrorists, frankly, it has really gone away.
Yeah. So I think like the extremists have stayed around, or the super alt mega right.
Yeah, the ones that are, threatening to bring us back to the time that America was great for, white people.
Do you want to go back to the plantation period?
Yeah. That was pretty good for my kind.
Me, I was building railroad tracks and blowing up.
I can't believe people think that that's unacceptable.
No, because people don't. You have to realize there's a history lesson. Is that the reason why the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s were pretty decent for America is because World War II fucked a lot of things up in Europe.
Well, that one, but also there was a whole class of people that was being subjugated and exploited. So that the white people could benefit.
Yep.
And that's like capitalism is that.
Yep.
Capitalism is exploiting the resources.
Yeah.
The resources of the workers.
Yeah.
So that the few can benefit a fuck ton from it.
Because when you think about it, because like, Germany, before World War II happened, they were really shitty. And then a group of German people found out how to exploit another group of people. And then essentially stole all their money.
Yep.
And also made them labor.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's how they got themselves out of their rut.
Well, and like not every country, most countries have a history of exploitation in some way or another. We live in Canada. Yeah. Canada has a deep history of exploitation.
Malaysia is funny because this is the kind of TLDR. This is from what my dad has told me. Is that because Malaysia is kind of like a weird kind of country where there's Malay people and then those Chinese. And there's like a big problem. It's still like corruption and everything. But you know how Singapore existed is because Malaysia did a whole nationalistic thing, kicked out all the immigrants, also the Chinese, to Singapore. And look at Singapore today.
Yeah, they're like, we're like the richest people ever,
We're richest, super rich people in Malaysia.
But then Singapore is also kind of fucked up. Like there's a great Anthony Bourdain clip where he's like eating street food with a bunch of rich Singapore people.
Yeah.
And they're just like kind of making fun of the help that they have and like how cheap it is and how it's good to exploit. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I remember seeing that. It's like, do you have help? It's like, your kid's at home right now and you're just having lunch? Yeah. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like even for me, like when I go back to Malaysia home, I'm not criticizing my family, but it's like, they have help.
Yeah. And like, it's a fucked up thing.
Yeah.
Like, I see the appeal, obviously. Like you can pay someone, $20 a day.
Yeah.
And have them clean your house and do all this stuff. But this idea that the world is sustainable in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it is. And I think as more and more people have become awakened to the idea of, equality and justice due to, the Gutenberg press is one of the biggest inventions in terms of progressing humanity forward. I think the internet in 500 years will recognize it's a very similar thing. It totally changed how information is disseminated. And I think people are just fucking fed up.
Yeah.
And they're not going to accept that system anymore.
Yeah. And
I don't see us moving forward without some kind of like just some big event. I don't know what it is.
I think once, because I think ChatGPT has been allowed internet access now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I think either ChatGPT or Bing has allowed it to have internet access. And I remember reading that and I'm like, oh, well, fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's going to either ChatGPT goes, oh, human race is bad.
Well, I can't remember if I talked to you about it last, but Microsoft fired their entire AI ethics team.
Yeah. It's like, who watches the Watchers, baby? Like, I don't know. Maybe ChatGPT is like, please fire these people.
Maybe that's what Twitter needs is just fucking ChatGPT integration.
God, everything fucking
ChatGPT, tweet for me. Beep, oh my God, it probably would be better than it is now.
Anyways, let's finish this one up.
Yeah, so for Musk to make money, he needs 10.4 million subscriptions for Twitter Blue, which is never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
There's no fucking world in which 10 million people are going to give him $8 a month for Twitter Blue. There's, I think there's like 100,000 right now.
Yeah. And my account's expiring on April the 15th.
Maybe it's a few 100,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he is working to make it that check marks don't mean anything. And then he's going to sell the check mark. He's like working against himself in desperation.
Well, I mean,
it's fun to watch, but it's also scary because people like him, as stupid as he is, as totally disconnected from the world as he is, run the world.
Like the thing is, like, he doesn't have a plan.
No,
it's like, getting rid of the check marks. Oh, but just joking. It's just gonna now say this weird thing. It's gonna say do this weird thing. Yep. It's like it's so hard for me to follow him that I've actually like muted him because
I muted him too.
Yeah,
and it's just all funny because it all started with like, I believe in free speech. I believe like
free speech asterisks.
Which fucking decision have you made? In your entire run of Twitter. That promotes free speech. Oh, he reinstated some fucking Nazis. Yeah, free speech.
Oh, God.
That's fucking cool.
It's like it's so asterisks.
I made it a pay to win platform. Yeah, dude, free speech. Oh fuck, I love free speech.
God, Twitter should just you know how they do it? Twitter just makes a subdivision, just makes mobile games that just fucking attract the whales, and that's how you supplement the money.
Fair.
Because fuck it. Actually, wait. Before we end it off, Merge Mansion or something like that. It's a shitty mobile game. You've probably seen the apps. It's like, oh, what did Grandma do? And like trying to like the point and click adventure games.
Yeah, I've probably seen the ad.
You've probably seen the ad. They fucking got Pedro Pascal to do a commercial for that game.
How much do you think that cost?
Yeah, I was like, what?
$20 million for a day?
But here's the thing. It's like, motherfucking, that guy got probably like, hey, that guy got motherfucking paid. If Linus or Marquez did a commercial of that, you'd be like, boo, that guy. It's like, fuck, you can't win.
See, but it's because it's more complex.
Yeah, I know.
It's like likability is so different. And Linus is a specific kind of likable.
Yeah.
And part of it is his, no bullshit, and he sticks to his guns. And so if he sells out and doesn't stick to his guns, then a lot of his likability is gone.
Let's say same thing with Marquez too. But just like, I just wanted to bring that up because like, fuck.
I mean, I want whatever he got paid.
He probably got paid like I think 50 million.
I don't fucking know, but a lot.
He's right now. Pedro Pascal. He's a hot commodity.
He's hot right now.
He is. He's fucking hot that way and hot the other way.
All the ways.
Anyways.
Oh, Pedro.
Anyways, thank you guys for listening for this tonight's thing.
Check out our Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. Patreon.com/Let's Wing It.
Our Twitter, Let's Wing It Pod.
Let's Wing It Pod. Hopefully enough we get a free check mark there one day.
No, I'd turn it down.
Free one?
Yeah, fuck that.
No,
unless I can advertise that it's free.
No, yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? And then, just email us, let'swingit22@gmail.com, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
Goodbye.